Hi, everybody. I'm Richard Barcas, and welcome to the discussion AI Integration for Student Learning in Namibia and Germany. I want to introduce Dr. Thorsten Braun of the University of Stuttgart. Dr. Braun is a higher education developer concerned with education for sustainable development and capacity building for teaching staff. Dr. Braun, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, and welcome to you all, dear colleagues and participants. You've joined our discussion session, which is going to shine a spotlight on artificial intelligence perspectives for teaching and learning in higher education in Namibia and Germany. So more specifically, this presentation, this discussion is a collaboration between the Namibia University of Science and Technology and the University of Stuttgart. And I'm going to introduce our speakers for this session. So we have today Joy Hambabi. She is an instructional designer at the Namibia University of Science and Technology with expertise in integrating technology and innovative practices to enhance student learning and to foster inclusive and personalized learning experiences. Also, her colleague, a warm welcome to Helena Imene. She's also an instructional designer. Her role is focusing on supporting academics in teaching and learning and to develop quality content for course design and for students. Joseph Fungai Gandanhamo is an information, communication, and technology expert at NUST, at the Namibia University of Science and Technology. And he's specializing in knowledge management, instructional technology, and system development. Then Dr. Colen Tuaundu is a researcher and trainer in the area of quality assurance, program development, and teaching. And he has about 15 years experience in senior management with a focus on the integration of technology into curriculum and classroom level. Then here from Stuttgart, we have Kim Méliani, a close colleague of mine. She is a research associate and lecturer, and she's involved with the development of an AI self-learning course for students. She's aiming to integrate technology for the support of independent learning of students. Yeah, I've been introduced already. Thank you, Richard, for that. So we are good to go, I guess. So what we want to do through this discussion is we want to imagine some pathways to leveraging AI tools while responding to ethical questions and educational demands. So this whole session basically is here to inspire you. So please let your thoughts and experiences connect to what we discuss for you and take it over to other festival sessions, maybe for other engagements here in this chat or on social media after our discussion. So that's our basic intention with this discussion session. So we invite you to explore the topic we present to you together with us along three major branches we would like to discuss. So impact, horizons, and shaping AI in higher education. That's basically it, what we want to focus on. I'm going to zoom in a little bit and would like to kick it off with a question about what has changed, what has been explored so far. And I would like to call for some success stories, maybe from one from NUST in Namibia, one from University of Stuttgart here, and maybe Joseph, I think you and your colleagues designated you to present us a success story from NUST. So I hand it over to you. Please go ahead.
Great. Thank you so much, and welcome to the guests. Right, let's start off with our success story from last year. Maybe a bit of background before I jump in. We've been hit also by this whole AI boom that came all of a sudden. I think we were caught off guard. We're still wrestling with a lot of issues when it comes to digital literacy, access to digital platforms and the like on our end here. So in the midst of that, while we're still trying to track our journey to try and onboard not just our students, our academics as well. And I think you might have a bit of background in terms of our side here in Namibia. The population and access to digital platforms and the like is still fairly limited, but the government has done quite a lot to enhance and to drive the digital agenda. Then comes AI, right? While we're still in the midst of setting up, but we've managed to embrace it quite well. We have quite a few success stories, I think, on our end. I think we can advise on our side. We look at it from different angles based on our role in the institution here. We look at the technical side, then we look at the technical side in terms of infrastructure, preparedness, and the like. Then on the other end, we look at the academics, and the third level, of course, would be our students and their adoption of AI and its impacts there. Right. But our success story is going to be centered more on our academics, where we have had a particular scenario where one of our lecturers, who happens also to be one of our colleagues in the department, has managed to embrace AI and actually roll it out in a class for both content creation. It's even the pedagogical support side in terms of designing and setting up of the course itself, the course content, assessments, then as well as a tool is using the AI as a tool to also help with student learning at their own pace, and also for the development of the core skills in the course. I think Joy can actually give us something in terms of that. Should be able to come in.
You, Joseph, yes. Our colleague, Dr. Bob, is teaching student teachers who are actually going to be teachers or educators for TVET on how to create lesson plans using AI. So she takes them through on how to use AI actually as a supporting tool, supporting in creating content, supporting in creating multimedia content in likes of videos and audios, and how to prompt and so in tutoring them in this way, the information is then cascaded to the rest of the students in this regard. Yes. So I think this is one of our success stories, that we have started training not only students, but also lecturers on how to use AI to support them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
in that regard. If I can also add, we have incorporated Copilot on our website, so that it can also be used as a supporting tool, both for students as well as the lecturers. And I think we are also planning to have a wider training session for our students, because I think up until now, the students are not using it ethically. We've started on a small scale, but we are planning a larger audience of students, how we're going to train them on AI ethics, academic integrity, and as well as using it mostly as a supporting tool.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, that's probably one point we will come back to in a few minutes when it comes to ethical use of AI. But thank you so far for this success story. So I'm hearing that this was kind of a broad use of AI and application in content creation, in curriculum development, and as a tool for student learning. So yeah, combining it all in one course or in one module is probably not so easy to achieve, but a good example of how it could work out. I would like to hand over to Kim, who is going to present to us a little success story from University of Stuttgart. Kim, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Thorsten. Also a warm welcome from me to all the guests. We are confronted with a similar situation at the University of Stuttgart. So boom, suddenly AI and AI competencies and the reflected usage is of importance now. For you, I have brought a success story from my statistics lecture. In that lecture, I'm working with master students and the R programming software to do applied statistics. So what is the problem? What is the situation? There's a severe fear of statistics in non-technical study programs. It's overwhelming, it's stressful, it's confusing. So this is each semester what the students are confronted with emotionally. What is the root? The root is a negative self-concept and statistical fear that blocks further learning. So emotional barriers that hit before the thinking can begin. And then what is the impact with AI? AI offers a calm, personalized 24/7 learning support. So tailored help, zero shame, and individualized learning are here some keywords. What is the vision? The vision is that teaching and learning is evolving through that. So AI transforms how we teach and how we learn. Alternative explanations is one potential. Code support, real-time feedback is a very important keyword also here. But what is important so that it does become a learning booster and not a de-skilling trap is the essential aspect of a solid knowledge base, because AI is powerful, but true learning needs a solid foundation.
Okay, thank you very much. So, the interesting takeaway from me right now here is that you are talking about de-skilling and the risk of having negative impact of the use of AI, but also the positive impact when it comes to emotion in teaching and learning, in your case, so learning statistics. Everyone who ever did statistics probably can relate. So zooming back to the impact branch we were talking about, I would like to maybe go down that road and asking a little bit more about these fears and hopes created by AI for students in Namibia. And when we were preparing for our session, I think it was Helena who introduced her take on that. Helena, maybe would you like to comment on hopes and fears created by AI when it comes to students in Namibia?
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you to all participants. I think the situation in Namibia is that there is a perception that AI is here to replace jobs. At this point in time, I think students are making use of AI for their learning. However, the question is, after learning, after graduating, are they able to secure jobs? Because AI seems to be, the kind of replacing jobs. So it leaves them with the kind of anxiety, even if they sort of get their certificates. For example, I think when you look at two examples that I would want to bring is that a student that is studying in a human sciences or social sciences field may get worried about how AI will automate certain functions, such as maybe accounting or administrative roles and so forth. Instead of actually worrying, instead of saying, how can I make use of AI to sort of create and have new ideas, as opposed to other students, maybe around the globe that are embracing AI to create even jobs, to create new businesses, and so forth. So we have seen a student with that kind of anxiety, but I think part of our success story, as Joy put it, is that perhaps if we can only create an awareness that AI is not here to replace, but it is more of a supporting tool to even create and become more creative at the end.
Thank you. So that's an interesting way to respond to that threat to the career perspectives. Like AI is maybe threatening some careers, but also kind of creating completely new opportunities to shape new ways of businesses, to create new opportunities. I get that point. Thank you. Colen, what is your general impression here? Could you pick that up when it comes to kind of opportunities that have arisen so far at Namibia in higher education, of course, when it comes to AI?
Yeah, for us also, as Helena put it, on the side of the student, but there is also another anxiety that is also created by AI, and that is on the side of the lecturers. Some lecturers, they have this opinion that, AI is also replacing their jobs, is also replacing everything that they're supposed to do. So instead of them embracing AI, and this is just a minority group of lecturers who probably need some training and some education in terms of what AI can do and how they can use actually AI to help them as a co-teacher or an assistant teacher to help them to deliver the content, to develop the content, and so on. So the fear is that when they embrace this whole AI thing, then tomorrow the student will not need a lecturer because they can just access the AI tools that are available, get the content, the co-piloting issues that is there, actually also take over the place that the lecturer is supposed to be there to maybe guide and so on, because this might guide the student in all the other aspects. So this whole thing is about how they perceive the AI. Instead of using it as a tool to assist them, it creates that fear. And also the other fear that the lecturers are having also is the issue of maybe plagiarism that we have talked about, that lecturers are giving assignments and so on. And then the student will just simply go and use an AI tool and humanize the whole essay that they are writing with another AI and so on. And then they bring an assignment to the lecturer. And the lecturer has now that difficulty to determine whether this is now the student's opinion, it's herself or himself, or is it generated by AI and so on. And then they have these other tools that they can use also to detect that. So these are the challenges, but when you educate the people and see how the lecturers and the student can use the AI to actually assist learning, it should be about learning so that the student cannot be a person who just you are there working with an empty head. Every time a question comes, your only option is, let me go to the AI and find out what is this answer or what is that. But then you don't apply the knowledge that you are getting especially to practicals and so on. And then that is the other challenge. And on the other last challenge that I'm also seeing, or that we are working on, is the issue of work integrated learning or work placement, and how AI can be of used in terms of when students go for industry attachment, when they go to those industry, what kind of AI tools are they using, and how do the student integrate into those and use those different type of AI. So these are all a learning curve, and I think as NAST, we are trying our best to move and the perception that people have towards AI so that they can start understanding it as a tool to assist you. Just like in the past, we were having Google. Sometimes you want information, you just go to Google and you find the information. But now we have another tool available that we can also use to our advantages. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Colen. So, oh, what's that? Can you hear it well? We are done. Okay, don't worry. This was a timer set, but we are good in time. It's okay. I would like to pick that up actually. So you were telling us that lecturers are also are concerned about being replaced or maybe pushed to the side when it comes to AI application, fear of plagiarism, and maybe short ways and bypasses when it comes to learning and so on. And you mentioned that one way to tackle it is to educate about the actual possibilities AI offers and how to apply it in a productive and a good way, so that it goes in a good direction when it comes to learning success. My follow-up question here would be, Colen, so you are all coming from the same unit, the Academic Development and Support Division. What have you applied so far? What have you undertaken when it comes to educating teachers and teaching staff? Do you have a strategy or maybe some kind of approach you are already applying?
So on our side, what our plan is that we need to start doing some workshops in terms of AI. But the challenge that we have now as a university is that we do not have a policy on AI that is approved. We are still developing the policy. So the first step is to get the policy approved, and I think it will go now to Senate. And once that policy is approved, you now have a tool that you can go around, and when we are going to do this promotion of the policy, the idea is that now we will start with training, and we can develop self-paced courses that students or lecturers can go online by themselves and see how they can learn about the use of AI, when to use AI, how to use AI, and so on. And that is the approach that we are trying to follow, so that our unit can spearhead the whole thing of training the lecturers, training the academics. And to make it faster, we are planning to have it online as well.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So policies, yeah. I would like to ask the audience at this point, just drop a line or a comment in the chat if your university or institution has a clear and finalized policy on AI. That would be curious to see. Maybe we can pick it up later and talk a little bit about that. But I get the point that starting from a university-wide policy that we would have some kind of leverage to actually design support infrastructure, to design workshops, and to go to the people, to the teachers, and maybe also to the students, and approach them with educational possibilities and options. I think that, yeah, this turns the perspective a little bit towards what is coming up or what we are working on right now. And so I would like to move on to this horizon branch we want to look a little bit deeper into. So the hopes and potentials of AI we are seeing when it comes to Windhoek in Namibia and Stuttgart here in Germany. And maybe let me kick that one off with a question that when we were talking about advantages and possible prospects of AI that came up very often, and that is the possible benefit for disadvantaged students. So how can we use and leverage AI to support disadvantaged students, marginalized groups of students, and how can we avoid to widening already existing gaps like the limitation of access to technology and stuff like that? I would like to give this question just to all of you. Is there someone of you who want to comment on that or has some insights to share?
Thank you, Thorsten. I think, like we said, AI can be used as a supporting tool, especially for disadvantaged students who either are unable to attend classes face-to-face or have not sufficient funds for extra classes. So AI can be used as a tutoring tool to explain difficult concepts, to explain difficult content that otherwise students wouldn't have been able to get. So in this format, the students can use then AI as a tool to support that. And also sometimes students, AI in an informal setting, you can use AI for any vocation, let me say, that you would want to use. So AI, not only for academic purposes, but you can learn a skill using AI, and specifically as a supporting tool, as a tutoring that can tutor you anytime. The good thing of AI is also 24/7, that you don't need to wait to go to classes for you to access the information. You can access it on your fingertip. And I think also accessibility, inclusion can also be another benefit for disadvantaged students. If you can use it text to speech, I think that can also be a benefit for some students. Yeah, I think this is what I can think about. My colleagues can jump in if I might have forgotten something. Thank you.
Yeah, I think Joy actually outlined it quite well. Possibly to give the context, or at least our background here from Namibia, we do have challenges with access to content, quality content that is contextualized as well for our students. So you find a lot of the content that might be available readily on the internet might be difficult to actually translate or put some sort of context to Namibia that our students can relate to. So like she said, we're actually looking at AI implementation with these particular angles as advantages on our side for our students. And a lot of our students also struggle with access to facilities. Some students are based so far in remote places, but we are getting rich in terms of digital access and connectivity in those far away places. But now to also benefit our students, to give them some sort of extra edge compared to just sharing content with them, AI is bringing in that angle of the tutoring aspect. And again, like we said, contextualizing some of the content, which adds value, making the content much richer on our end. So that's why, in particular, we are actually embracing AI adoption and implementation for our students and to enhance our university reach to our students.
Thank you.
And just in addition to that is the issue of we are talking about equity and access. Because the challenge that you also might experience is that the students who are well connected with technological tools and Wi-Fi and internet connection and so on always get that advantage in terms of AI, the use of AI, because they have the access. But then you have other students who are disadvantaged, as Joseph said, that are in rural areas where there is no network, no what. So the idea or the plan is that we also have to look in terms of some AI tools that are offline, that can be used offline, and that a student can also access offline without the use of technology. So those are things that we are looking at. Some times ago now, we started to work on an issue that where we have to connect those students to ensure that those students also are getting this equal access to these tools, because we are talking about equality in education and so on. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for your insights. So yeah, it's interesting to hear that some aspects you mentioned, I think, are the same or very similar here in Germany. Some others are not so much of an issue in Germany, like remote areas and getting connectivity out there. But we share, I think, a certain amount of concerns when it comes to disadvantaged groups. I'm just thinking about Kim, your R course and what you introduced earlier, that is supposed to, so AI is supposed to lower emotional issues with your content, which I mean, maybe some people are more disadvantaged in this relation. Do you see a connection here? Is this something where you could find what you are doing?
Yes, I see that it can, well, we're talking of generative AI, that it can really support the human factor that I already bring as a lecturer, but I do not always have the perfect explanation or the explanation that really works for the mind and for the database that each student has in their head. So there are different use cases, and it's important to think of AI in different use cases. And I'm also very happy that there are some paid free tools that they can use. So KI Campus is also a huge platform with free courses, and it's important to lower that, to have that equity, because a lot of students cannot afford a paid version. So this is also something for the AI course that we are developing, that we show use cases with AI tools that are free of charge. So yeah, think AI in use cases, but don't forget the human factor. It's so important. I think we see that with blended learning. Blended learning is better than only 100% e-learning. You still need the lecturer. You need to address things on a human level. AI cannot replace that, I think.
Thank you. Yeah. So I'm wondering if we are talking about the horizon here. So what kind of hopes we have and potentials we might see at the horizon. Is someone of you kind of seeing a fundamental difference between what is happening in Germany or Europe and in Namibia or in Southern Africa? Is there a special need, a special perspective, something that makes it different at university? Or are we talking basically about the same issues when it comes to inclusion of disadvantaged groups, but also maybe in other fields like the implementation of AI in teaching and learning? What is your take on that?
Thorsten, sorry for that. Can you just simplify the question again?
Yeah, sure. Sorry. I was going to ask, so if there is, in your opinion, a distinct difference between the needs and the application and the hopes with regard to AI between Southern Africa and Europe, or Namibia and Germany. So are we all facing the same issues, or do you see like differences?
Sorry, Joy, can I go?
Yes, please do.
Okay. I think looking at Namibia in terms of we've got perhaps we need to look at three aspects here, which is now access to infrastructure, policy maturity, and also the cultural relevance. I think most of these issues has been discussed by Dr. Tuaundu and also Joseph there, where we are saying that most of the content is in these AI tools are basically in English or global languages. For example, in Namibia, I don't think we do have one of the AI tool in our local languages. So it does sometimes when students do not perhaps understand, English coming from remote areas, they might need to sort of understand the content, put it in the language that they might understand so that they can actually relate to. One of the examples that I have also seen is that we also get students from other countries such as Angola and DRC. And sometimes it becomes difficult for them to sort of relate the content in English. They sort of needed to translate it back in their language so that it can get back into English and then they can understand. But you can see that the critical thinking is there. They just need to understand certain concepts, to make these concepts a little bit easy to understand. The other issue is on policies where, as Dr. Pound alluded to, is that NAS does not have the AI policy, but I think it's also when we speak of the government itself, I think the government is still yet to come up with a national policy that would guide even universities and also, maybe some schools rather to leverage AI. So maybe that is what, differences or similarities that we can see from our side. I'm not sure now in Germany how things are. But one of the issues that we also notice is that despite the access to or lack of access to or lack of infrastructure, this includes also very expensive data for students to access these informations. It's not only electricity, connectivity, and internet connectivity. It is the high cost of data that is really, really also killing our students. I'm not sure how's the situation in Germany.
When you say data, you mean like having data capacity to work
Yes.
with mobile
exactly.
phone? And,
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I see.
So the tool to work offline, perhaps it will assist. But at this point in time, data is an issue.
Thank you
if
very much.
students are home.
That's right. Yeah, I think from
Yeah.
so when you are talking about the four issues, you see like infrastructure, access, mindset, and policy. Basically, we have the same issues in Germany, I would say. But yeah, if you look into the details, it might get a little bit different, and with different priorities between our two countries. But someone of you was going to speak and add something, or did I cut you
Yeah.
off? Okay, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to add to what Helena said in terms of the issue of the student and the language. What I also noticed is that there are also biasness in terms of the tools themselves. You know, AI tools are actually operating based on the information they had. Now, in terms of us in Southern Africa, some of the content that we are teaching or what we want to convey to the students are not really captured by these tools. So in other words, when the student is searching for information through these tools, the tool will only bring what it knows and what is fit in the data that it has captured. So I think there are also somehow a little bit of a discrepancy there in terms of that issue of what is really that the tool is bringing forth. And then there is also the issue of data privacy, which we are maybe going to talk about it in another level or on another platform. But you will notice that not everybody wants we don't have that at government level in terms of how should the data be protected from abuse and so on. So those are some of the probably differences that you'll see that in Namibia we are still to come at the governmental level and also at many of the institutional level to ensure that there is a policy, there is an act enacted in terms of AI and so on. So things like that might also be causing some differences between the two countries. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, from my perspective, I think one of the things that impresses me most is how strong your university is when it comes to policy. Like thinking from the policy perspective side of things, and in order to help people in the higher education development, for example, to bring some change into being and transformation. That's an amazing thing. And if I remember correctly, you were just going to issue some policy on AI in your university bodies. So we are very curious to see what comes out of that. At this point, I think maybe I'm still a little bit caught by Kim's idea of the R course. Do you think when it comes to disadvantaged groups, it would be a good idea to look a little bit deeper in what you prepared for us? Or should we just wait for that a little bit longer for the last branch we want to look into?
Yeah, we could look into that. Just what Colen just said with the act. We have the European AI Act that puts some pressure now, and that puts also a framework. And so the key word here is AI competencies. So the University of Stuttgart is also working on a policy. So for academic staff, for administration, doctoral students, and so on. And there is also an AI system in planning to be for the academics and for the students to use for the administration. So that's also something that I just wanted to add, that certainly is a very important for that frame, that there is an act like that protects the companies, that protects the users from AI tools that are manipulative. For example, dark pattern AI, when you go on a website and it pushes you to buy something, to subscribe to something, or malware, for example, a virus. I always say to my students, when you use AI for support for your code, for programming, please check if that package that you should install, if it does not have any virus in it, because I had that situation, and thank goodness I had an antivirus program on my laptop.
Yeah, that is one of the definitely scary examples of of a negative impact of AI. Thank you for sharing. Before we move on, and I would like then to give the spotlight to you, Kim, when we start the last branch for today's discussion. I would like to ask Colen one question. So you were detailing us that there is also a bias expected when it comes to how the tools work and what kind of data they have and what kind of content they offer. Do your policies you are working on somehow reflect on that, on these ethical issues, on the limitations all the tools have, which are so widely used right now?
Yeah, no, our policy is more generic, but when we come to our procedure, because next to the policy, we have a procedure on how the tool will be used or how the student will apply the tool and so on. So we cover that in the tool in terms of, because what we want to do is that we want to ensure that the student understand and the lecturer understand that what the tool is or what the AI tool is and what it can do and how you should use it and not use it, because there are all these ethical issues with regard to the use of the AI and so on, and that is what we want to instill. So there is a section that speaks to that and that explain in terms of the data that is in the tool.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's a good transit to our last branch here, which we labeled shaping, like, okay, riding the wave, paving the way, like what can we do as higher education developers now that we are so heavily involved? Because it's mostly our perspective here, except maybe Kim, who is also a lecturer herself and research associate. But yeah, so how can we shape it? What can we do? And maybe Kim, do you want to give us a little bit more insight in how you are working with AI as a lecturer in your statistics course? Am I free to move over to
Yes.
the slides you provided
Yes,
us?
thank you very much. I would love to. Yes, so I just said the best thing is to think AI in use cases, and there are 4 use cases, or they're not use cases, but there are 4 scenarios that you can differentiate. Those scenarios are based on Isabella Book and Annika Limburg. Those are 2 scientific writing didactic experts. So there's replaced cognition. I have marked the thunder beside it. So this is like the worst case scenario where AI replaces the cognition. I will in a minute also tell you something about the picture, because I have brought examples from the R course. So an example would be here that students from the last semesters, they were doing a group work and they wanted to compute the arithmetic mean of a variable. And the variable was where the scale niveau was, it's a gender variable and you cannot compute the arithmetic mean, but AI doesn't question it. It gives you the code to do that. So what I want to convey here as a message, you need a knowledge foundation, because otherwise your house is going to crumble. Even if you have the perfect code, the foundation has to be there. And yeah, so this is an example for replaced cognition. You can zoom out again. The other 3, I will only mention the third one so that I do not, so that the time is still good. So the second use case, now we are going into the reflected usage, because the first scenario depicts an unreflected usage. So unreflected in that sense, if you do not know that you are making a mistake, you cannot ask the AI about the mistake. So it's important, that knowledge foundation. The second is cognitive load reduction. We all know it. We write an email, want to check a text for stylistic and grammar spelling. So this is cognitive load reduction. And in the use case of R, it can, for example, break up the 3 difficulty layers. So code, the R code, the R language itself, then also the language the program is in, so it's English. So for many students, they do not talk so much English, it's also a barrier. And the third layer is the statistics layer. And also R has a lot of error messages. When you work with it, you get some error messages, which is per se not it's not a problem. It's like breathing when you live. So error messages are very important, and AI can function as a lens to explain the error message. So imminent feedback that is support here. The third use case, and there I want to tell you a little anecdote that just happened some days ago. It's emotional load reduction. So what do I mean with that? It can, on an emotional level, reduce panic, for example, through alternative explanation. So I have the student, which was a pediatric nurse, and now she's studying, and she said, Kim, for all my life, I tried to avoid working with numbers, with statistics, and now I'm so panicked. Each day that I know that I have statistics each week, I get really this heart flutter. And every time when I go back at home, I try to find alternative examples, medical analogies, because that's where I come from, to understand the numbers. And then as a follow-up on our talk that we had at the evening, I sent her an email with the content that we had that day in the class, with medical analogies that I could compute thanks to the help of AI. And I sent her that, and she said, oh my God, I understand it now. It makes sense now. And yeah, that was a biblical moment, I can say. And now she has also decided for herself to do the art course and another semester to have more time for it. But she said, I'm pausing it with a good feeling about it now, because I've seen that there's a potential to understand it. And yeah, AI is a big support in that. And the fourth example is extended cognition. So for example, you have your data and you find patterns, or you find information that you have not seen before, because AI, in fact, also works like a discussion partner for you that you can talk to. And with talking comes a deeper meaning, a deeper understanding. And yeah, this is the fourth scenario. And those are the experiences from the art class that I can.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for these insights. I would like to pick that up and maybe look a little bit deeper into the implications that comes with that. So you take a lot of care that the use of AI is going in the right direction, which refers to the idea of an ethical application of AI, because it's not only the student who does use it, but also the teacher, of course. And I would like to pick that one up. Early in our discussion, I think it was Colen who mentioned very early that there is no ethical use of AI observed among students. And then we had that again when it came to the bias and how it might be reflected in the policy or in the processes that result from the policy. So how can we make sure that students are aware of limitations and also aware of how their data is used? So I would like to kind of look at this ethical issue in a more summative way again, and maybe put it into a clearer outline. So maybe, Colen, could you respond to the general question? So what is an ethical use of AI? So what are you aiming for if you want to make sure that AI is used ethically?
Yeah, thank you. So for us, we look at a couple of things in terms of the ethic use of the AI. And that is now the issue of academic integrity. For example, as a university, you know, when you are producing this graduate, you also want to, because you are producing it for the industry, and the industry wants people who are not over-reliant too much on AI, but they want also people who are learning and who are able to learn. And if they don't use AI as a learning tool, but more as a let me just use AI to answer this question, and you answer the question, but you don't apply understanding. So the issue is about the student must learn how to apply understanding in terms of so that they can use the AI ethically. And then also the privacy violation also. in terms of the AI tool itself, it might invade student privacy because the AI tool also actually is learning you how you are posting your question and so on, and that is based on that. It's how it gives you the response. The other issue also that we look at in terms of ethics is the issue of the erosion, the over-reliance and skills erosion, so that we have our students not to over-rely on AI, but also because they need to gain some skills. And these skills, they need to know, for example, if you over-rely too much on the AI tools in terms of calculations and so on, then your skills, you are not upscaling yourself in terms of solving problems and so on, because every time you just run to the AI to replace you or to think for you or to find solutions for you that you could have find it yourself and also be accountable. So, and then the other issue is the transparency and accountability. As I said earlier, also a student and lecturer cannot they can't context AI-driven decision. So sometimes the AI tool will give you a response, but this might be a wrong response. But you, because you don't have any other skills and knowledge about the content, you end up having an issue of just accepting whatever response you are getting from the AI tool. And then the dehumanization of the learning, this issue of the AI chat box where we have to replace human interaction may reduce because there's no empathy, and there is in terms of the engagement, you are more just relying on the tool, but there is no empathy and engagement on yourself or on your part as a student or as a lecturer. So we have also to look in terms of the issue of my mitigation strategy. How do we mitigate in terms of if there is ethics that are overrated or ethics that are transferred and so on, and we need to understand that there is consequences. For example, if a student have done this in terms of what we develop in the policy and so on, so that you can know that, okay, this is what the student have done, and these are the steps that we need to do to rectify or to solve the problem that the student have encountered with the AI. So in short, those are the few things that we look into as ethics of the AI.
Thank you very much for this outline. Yeah, it's quite a lot, and somehow I feel a little bit overwhelmed by it when I realize that I'm a higher education developer, and it is probably one of my tasks to actually take care that implementation of AI is aware of such ethical issues, and that we raise awareness if in some cases maybe the implementation of AI is done too quickly and without second guessing and without consideration of such critical issues. Maybe can we hand it over here for we are almost closing time already, so maybe it would be nice here to hear from the others how they are going to approach AI now in the near future, like shaping AI, shaping the environment in which AI is placed at university. So what is coming at us in terms of what are we working towards? Maybe can the others pick up on what Colen said, or maybe share what the immediate future will bring to you when it comes to AI implementation? What is up ahead for you? What is your highlight you are aiming for? Can we make a quick round here and hear from all the others what is to come?
From my side, Thorsten, I think not only at the higher education, but as a community as a whole, I think what came up is that we do not have localized information in AI. We do not create content. And I've read it somewhere that we should advocate that the community, our elders, we need to record information. We should record information and put it online so that we have accurate content which is contextualized for us. because I think at the end we need to be responsible of the content which is contextualized for our environment. I think this is that I would like to move into, as well as the language. I think we cannot leave it to the northern regions to create the language for us. So I think this is also one way that in the nearer future that we like to, we use our students and we create that content. I was at the e-learning conference and they were talking about Wikipedia. So we go into Wikipedia and we create that content for us, and then definitely AI will be able to pick it up and we can have some correct information which is contextualized in our environment. Just in short, one of them. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, very impressive take on that. Thank you.
I think from my side is more on continuous professional development in terms of how academics can ethically use AI in terms of teaching and also learning. For example, I think when I look at Kim on the number of loads, I think with NAST, if I can have a look at the workload that academics are sort of always facing is in assessments. So if AI can sort of be utilized to perhaps even sort of generate, reports on certain assessments, give personalized feedbacks to various students coming from diverse. It will be even good if choice ideas in terms of localized, personalized feedback can also happen, so that one understand what you were expected to do in your assessments and what are you expected to continue doing in your assessment. So I think from my side, we need to continue supporting academics in terms of how they may integrate AI in their teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kim, you want to pick it up? And maybe Joseph does the closing afterwards.
Yeah, so in addition to what the colleagues just said, I see a huge potential with the upcoming of AI for a shift from the learning outcome to the process. A shift to the process, because teaching and working with AI, it's all about co-intelligence. It's to think about, okay, where can I use it? Where can it help me? And where is it better that I think myself about what I have to do? So the numbers of decisions that we have to take has become much more than before. And so AI competencies, learning by doing, because it's such a dynamic field, is really the way to go and to continuing to shape the way.
Thank you. There was a bold claim or bold idea hidden, I think. Like we had the shift from teaching to learning. Now we are having the shift from learning to processing, or self-direct learning, or to reflect on learning with AI as study buddy next to me or whatever. Thank you. May I hand it over to Joseph? Do you want to continue?
Yes, thank you so much. Right, sorry. Just wanted to bring out an angle on our side. From the technical side, sorry. I just wanted to also just bring to the floor that, of course, in terms of all these advantages and the facilities and all that we said, one of our key challenges, of course, is, like we mentioned before, in the context of Namibia, is helping to drive access to these digital platforms. The different strategies that we can come up to help at least spread as much as possible to make it as, access to AI and the tools as equitable as possible and as widespread as possible. Of course, the economic implications are one of our key challenges, how we can get this to be done. But yeah, we're still in thought. It's things that we've been throwing around left, right, and center as to how we can go about this. Then, of course, on the side of the ethical usage of the tools, especially in higher education, our thoughts are around how we can help to roll out AI in such a way that it does not compromise the whole essence of education at the end of the day. We want to impart skills, and we want to drive and give the skills as effectively as possible to the human end. So our concern is primarily on making sure that we can at least guarantee this. Then we can also guarantee that the academics and whoever is overseeing, say, assessment and the teaching and learning processes, they also have tools that empower them to be able to manage the use of AI and to also maintain the ethical use within the classroom. Because for a lot of us, like, of course, in our context, we're not really in the classroom firsthand. We just offer the technical support. So those tools that can then be used to also help manage the whole issue, the whole use of AI in the educational environment. That is one of the areas that we find as a key strategic area for us to consider going forward.
Thank you. So I take from that, yeah, that's a good closing remark for me as higher education developer, like not sacrificing too much on the way of implementation. And I think I heard it from a colleague, Richard Powers, who would have loved to be here today, but he wasn't. He couldn't find the time. So he was mentioning that, yeah, it's not so much of sacrificing, but making sure that you are learning, so that AI is offering you the opportunity to refocus on what learning actually is and how it works. And so it helps us to pay more attention on the learning process. I like to see it that way. Thank you for sharing your contributions so far, all of you, through this discussion. We've done a little roundup here, so we are almost done and we have some time for questions left. I've seen already that one of you dropped one question in the chat, but others are also free to do so. If we run out of time, we might get in touch with you later on. If you want to keep on the discussion and to stay in touch, please do. Don't hesitate, even though we only have 3 minutes left. But maybe we can pick the first one up here. It is from Rick van der Pluim. Sorry about that, not so sure. So he's writing, what are the most important types of knowledge, contextualized, localized content for people in Namibia that AI doesn't have in its training data? Maybe Joy, can you enlighten us here a little bit more?
Okay. Thank you, Thorsten. I think the most obvious one is our languages, our native languages, so Shiwambo, Shierero, Rukwangali, Silosi. We have 11 dialects. So they are there, but they are not correctly. So you can put in English and ask them to translate. They will translate, but I must say 50 to 60% of it is wrong. So that is one of them. And then the others, I think it's our traditions, how rural communities manage water, grazing, cooperatives. That the information is there, but like any other, we would have liked it to be close to correctly. Our cultural practices and community norms, practices around weddings, funeral, or how things are done in our environment. We can also mention some of the legal documents. Our exam papers, so our grade 12 NSSO and AS, because that will really help our disadvantaged students to collect that information from AI since it's freely, and then be able to support them in their learning. But that information, you will not find it on the chat or AI training database. So I think that should be, in most cases, the responsibility of us to record, whether it's by audio or by uploading the relevant, correct information, so that AI can pick it up, and when it's searched for, can then give closely to correct information. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for outlining. And it's a good point to actually, yeah, a good point for closure here, a good thing to take with us and keep maybe in mind about the importance of indigenous knowledge and the immense, oh, there it is again, we're out of time. It almost sounds like wedding as well. But yeah, so to keep in mind that there is so much yeah, important knowledge for sustainability issues. So I'm not so sure now. I see that we have one more comment. Philip Unger is pointing out that we had the Summit of the Future by the United Nations organized by Namibia and Germany last year. Also, I see a raised hand. At this point, I ask Richard to advise, because we have reached the end of our formal or official presentation. And I don't want to skip at least to say thank you to those who attended and those who discussed. And I leave it up to Richard, our host here, to advise how we can proceed. So thank you. I don't know if we still have time, but at this
Hi,
point,
everybody. Yes. I think that we still have 5 minutes if you want to for this question, or just to wrap up the discussion. So no problem.